As dawn broke on the 15th century, the world was a vastly different place than we know it today. In the heart of Europe, the Renaissance was unfolding, an age of enlightenment where art, culture and science thrived. This was a time when the likes of Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo were redefining the boundaries of human creativity. Europe was a vibrant tapestry of city-states, kingdoms and burgeoning empires, each vying for power and influence. To the east, the mighty Ottoman Empire was on the rise. Under the strong leadership of sultans like Bayezid the Thunderbolt and Mehmed the Conqueror, the Ottomans were expanding their territories, stretching their influence from Asia Minor to the Balkans and beyond. Their military might and administrative prowess were unparalleled, making them a formidable power on the world stage. Simultaneously, far to the east, the Ming dynasty was steering China into a golden age. This was a period of great economic growth and cultural brilliance. The Ming were responsible for architectural wonders like the Forbidden City and exploratory ventures that took Chinese fleets as far as Africa. However, while these powers held sway over vast territories, the global landscape was conspicuously absent of a nation that is integral to the world we know today. There was no Mexico. The place we now know as Mexico was a land of diverse indigenous cultures, each with their own traditions, languages and ways of life. The mighty Aztecs held sway in the Valley of Mexico, while the Mayans thrived in the Yucatan Peninsula. Yet their existence was largely unknown to the wider world. This was a time when the Americas remained mostly isolated from the rest of the world, a vast expanse of land and sea that was yet to be fully discovered and acknowledged by the global powers of the day. Little did the world know, a new nation was about to emerge in the Americas, a nation we now know as Mexico. In 1519, a Spanish expedition led by Hernán Cortés arrived on the eastern shores of the yet-to-be-named Mexico. The Spanish didn't discover an uninhabited land though. No, they encountered a world that was rich in culture, full of grand cities and complex societies. Among these societies were the Aztecs and the Mayans, two of the most powerful and advanced civilizations in the region. The Spanish were strangers in this land, but they were not welcomed with open arms. Instead, they were met with a mixture of curiosity and caution. The Aztecs, led by their Emperor Moctezuma, initially received the Spanish as honored guests, believing that Cortés could be the reincarnation of their feathered serpent god Quetzalcoatl. But the Mayans, on the other hand, were more skeptical, less inclined to see these foreign invaders as divine beings. But the Spanish had not come for a cultural exchange. They had come for gold, for power, for the glory of Spain, and they were willing to do whatever it took to achieve these aims. Tensions between the Spanish and the indigenous peoples escalated quickly, leading to conflicts and battles. The superior weaponry of the Spanish, combined with their cunning tactics and alliances with other indigenous groups disgruntled by the Aztecs, allowed them to gain a decisive advantage. But it wasn't just through force that the Spanish asserted their dominance. They also leveraged their religions, introducing Catholicism to the indigenous peoples, in an attempt to convert them and further consolidate their control. As the Spanish carved a path through the region, they left in their wake a trail of destruction, of desecrated temples and devastated cities. Despite the fierce resistance of the Aztecs and the Mayans, they were unable to withstand the Spanish onslaught. The Spanish conquest was brutal and swift, forever changing the course of history for the indigenous people and setting the stage for the formation of Mexico. From the ashes of these ancient civilizations, a new world was being forged, a world that would be shaped by the blending of cultures, the clash of beliefs, and the relentless pursuit of power. By 1521, the Aztec Empire had fallen, and the Spanish established New Spain, marking the beginning of Mexico's colonial period. As the Spanish took control, they brought with them a wave of changes that would leave a lasting impact on the land and its people. One of the most significant changes was the introduction of Catholicism. The Spanish were devout Catholics and felt a divine obligation to convert the indigenous peoples to their faith. Churches sprouted up across the land, becoming central to community life. Spanish friars worked tirelessly to convert the native population, and over time Catholicism became deeply ingrained in the culture, where it remains a cornerstone today. But the Spanish did not just bring religion. They also brought an insatiable appetite for wealth. New Spain was rich in resources, particularly silver, and the Spanish exploited these to their full extent. Mines were established, and the indigenous peoples were often forced into labor. The wealth extracted flowed back to Spain, fueling its golden age, while the people of New Spain bore the brunt of this exploitation. Yet, despite the hardships, something unique was happening. The Spanish and the indigenous peoples were beginning to merge into a single society. Spanish men married indigenous women, and their children, known as mestizos, became a new racial group. Spanish became the common language, but indigenous words and phrases seeped in, creating a distinct dialect. Spanish architectural styles blended with indigenous ones, giving rise to a unique aesthetic. Food was another area where fusion occurred. Spanish ingredients like wheat, pork, and dairy mixed with indigenous staples like corn, beans, and chili peppers to create the rich and varied Mexican cuisine we know today. This cultural integration was not without conflict, but it laid the foundation for modern Mexican culture, a vibrant blend of indigenous and Spanish influences. New Spain was a fusion of two worlds, shaping the unique cultural and social fabric of what would become Mexico. As the 19th century dawned, the winds of change began to blow. The people of New Spain yearned for independence. The Mexican War of Independence, a pivotal period in Mexico's historical narrative, was a tumultuous time marked by upheaval, struggle, and an indomitable spirit for freedom. The seeds of rebellion were sown, and the people of New Spain were ready to shake off the shackles of their colonial past. In the heart of this revolution were figures like Miguel Hidalgo and José María Morelos, brave individuals who dared to challenge the established order. Hidalgo, a Roman Catholic priest, was known as the father of Mexican independence. He ignited the flame of rebellion in 1810 with his famous speech, the Grito de Dolores, calling his fellow countrymen to rise against Spanish rule. This marked the beginning of a decade-long war for independence. Morelos, a priest and a military leader, took up the mantle after Hidalgo's death. He fought relentlessly, winning crucial battles and rallying the people towards the cause of independence. His contribution to the revolution was significant, his legacy enduring. The war was fraught with struggles and setbacks. The revolutionaries faced immense challenges. They were up against a powerful empire, confronted with internal divisions, and had to navigate the complexities of a diverse population with varying interests. But they persevered. Their victories, however small, were testament to their unwavering resolve and commitment to the cause. The fight for independence was not just about political autonomy. It was a struggle for identity, for the right to self-determination, for the freedom to shape their own destiny. The final achievement of independence in 1821 was a monumental moment in the annals of Mexican history. After 11 long years of bloodshed and sacrifice, the people of New Spain finally claimed their freedom. A new chapter had begun, and Mexico was born. After a long and bloody struggle, Mexico emerged as a free nation, leaving behind its colonial past. With independence achieved, the young nation faced the monumental task of building a new identity and government. As we delve into the birth of modern Mexico, we find a nation grappling with post-independence turbulence, political instability, foreign interventions, and a myriad of internal conflicts. In the wake of independence, Mexico was a fledgling nation, yearning for stability. The road to peace, however, was paved with struggles, as power changed hands numerous times. The first half of the 19th century saw Mexico embroiled in political upheavals, with various factions vying for control. From the centralist republic to the Second Federal Republic, the political landscape of the country was in constant flux. Mexico's sovereignty was tested on several occasions during this period. The French intervention in the 1860s was a notable instance, leading to the short-lived Second Mexican Empire under Maximilian I. However, the resilience of the Mexican people shone through as they successfully ousted the foreign emperor and reinstated their republic. The late 19th and early 20th centuries brought more challenges. The Porfiriato, the long rule of Porfirio Diaz, was marked by significant economic growth but also by social inequality and political repression. The Mexican Revolution, which erupted in 1910, was a response to these conditions. It was a landmark event that profoundly shaped Mexico's future. The revolution brought sweeping social and political changes, leading to the formation of the Constitution of 1917. This pivotal document, still in effect today, established Mexico as a federal republic and introduced progressive reforms in areas such as labor rights, land reform, and education. The post-revolutionary period saw Mexico striving to consolidate its gains and build a unified national identity. Despite ongoing struggles and challenges, the nation persevered, gradually molding itself into the vibrant, diverse, and resilient country we see today. Through trials and triumphs, Mexico forged its identity, blossoming into the vibrant, diverse, and resilient nation we know today. As we reflect on Mexico's journey, we find a narrative of resilience and determination, a story of a people's unyielding spirit shaping their nation's destiny.